Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Ro. Glad you all could join us on this evening. As you come in, please don't forget to comment and to share this. And also during the course of this broadcast, please don't forget to subscribe. And even when you subscribe, don't forget to click the alert icon so you will be notified when we're on and live and in real color with you. Listen, I am so excited to be back for this second episode of Real Talk with Ro. I got my brothers, if y'all can see, I got my brothers here with me. Pastor Frank Oliver, Overseer Theo Wilkins. He's in the building on tonight, and we're going to wait for our sister, Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard. She should be joining us shortly as well. But I thank God for you brothers coming in the studio tonight, joining us, man. How you doing, Pastor Frank, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's hot, but I'm all right, boy.
I know. It's hot out here in LA, man. Yeah. Overseer Wilkins, man. How goes it?
Man, it goes well, man. I'm good.
Listen, so as you all come on in, don't forget to like, comment. We're going to open up the calls as well. The call-in number, get yourself ready. It's 213-528-9659. Again, that number is 213-528-9659. Listen, just a recap from last week. We talked about Black America, can we live? And we dived a little bit into what's been happening in these yet to be United States of America as we are endeavoring to get out of this COVID-19 pandemic that we're in. And then we suffered the martyrdom of our friend and our brother George Floyd. Also, Breonna Taylor was slain a few weeks ago before that. And even our brother Ahmaud Arbery, and a long list of other African Americans that have become victims of police brutality. So we dabbled a little bit on that, but we're not going to stay there tonight. We're going to move and dip our toes a little bit into some deep water on tonight. And I wish she was here. She's going to be joining us soon. Our friend and our sister, the Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard, she had made a reference, and we didn't get into it too much last week, but we're going to start some trouble on this week about men, African-American men in particular, dating outside of their race. So when she comes in, we're definitely going to bring her in that conversation. But I want to start with my brothers here and say to either one of you all, no matter how you want to take it, what do you all say to that? Do you think it's okay that our African-American men or African-American women can date our Caucasian, Asian, and Latino brothers and sisters? Is it okay? Do you lose your blackness? Can you not be about the cause? Can you not fight the power that be if you're not rocking with the sister, or a sister not rocking with the brother? I'm going to start with my dear friend, Pastor Oliver, because I know he about to start trouble tonight, man. What say you?
I'm not, you know what? Not on this one. I'm not on this one. I won't try. I think if you can find somebody that can totally love you, that you are compatible with, I don't care if they're green. I think that's who you need to rock with, who God has ordained you to be with. And so I think black love is really based on you being black and being able to adore and love your cultural stance, irregardless of who you with and how you begin to move in those places, in that, no matter who you're with, and no matter how, if they are black or not black. And so I think that we have really kind of allowed ourselves to be put in a box, and we're looking for black love, which is preference, right? Instead of priorities, which are, who do I mesh with? Who helps build who I am? And especially if we're going to come from like I like to do, decidedly male perspective.
Right.
I would say, who is helping you, Adam, in your garden? Who's helping build you and your assignment? And so sometimes we're so busy trying to fulfill what our preferences we forget that the priority is that you need somebody to help fulfill what God is giving you vision for. And you can get with somebody and they can be wonderfully black and hinder you from fulfilling God's kingdom in your life.
All right. I'm not going to jump in. I'm going to let Overseer, man, what say you? Can black men and black women and or date out of their race? Do they, since we're in this, I would say, hypersensitive time where we have this Black Lives Matter movement, do you think it's still okay for brothers and or sisters to date our Caucasian, Asian, and Latino brothers and sisters if they would like? Do they lose their blackness? Should they not do it? Should, what say you, man?
Well, I will say that, first of all, it's that individual person prerogative on who they want to date. I mean, you could date who you want to date. And just like if it was a black man and black woman dating, you just got to make sure that you're, at least the majority of your, you have majority of things in common. Now, that's something, that you added to the question second go around when you proposed the question to me. I was going to bring that up in my answer, is that, I'm just thinking, what is interracial couples going through right now, especially a black man that's married to a black woman, or a black woman that's married to a black man, a white man. I wonder right now, what's going on in their household. If I could be a fly on the wall just to see, their views. I think right now it'll be tough if, whichever sex is white, if you can't be pro-white right now,
right? Yeah.
In this situation, so really, basically, as far as interracial dating, as it pertains to Caucasian and black together, it really depends on that understanding, that respect that they have for each other's culture, that honor that they have for each other's culture. But after it's all said and done, date who you want to date who makes you happy, who completes you. As my brother Pastor Frank said, who's helping you in your garden. That's who you date, because it's some black on black relationships that's, probably going through hell even right now. Somebody, black husband's probably telling somebody's black, telling their black wife, you being too black right now, and they black, so right. It really just depends on that understanding that you have, that respect, that honor that you have for one another. And if, like I could say, for me, if I was dating a white woman or married to a white woman right now, right now she would just have to be, really sensitive, sensitive, to what's going on in the world right now. Now, and if there's any out there listening, now is not the time, if you're dating a white person, a Caucasian person, every way you want to call it, right now is not the time, to talk. It's just the time to just sit and just listen to your black husband or your black wife, your black boyfriend, black girlfriend talk, because you may, say the wrong thing. So just sit back and just listen. But you date who you want to date.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it like this, because as I've seen, not to push them to the back of the bus, quote, to say, I ain't gonna start no trouble, but our baby boomer generation, and even the silent generation, which is our parents and our grandparents, we do see quite a few of them out in the protests and different things of that nature. But I really see Generation X and millennials and Generation Z out there pushing this movement. And I believe those three generations are the ones that really have pushed interracial dating. And it hasn't been so much looked down upon. If we're looking at the baby boomers, our parents, those that integrated and had interracial relationships, they kind of went through it a little bit more than Generation Xers and millennials. And we see the millennials and Generation Xers that are out there protesting. And I believe a lot of that has come birth from interracial relationships, right? Your mother and your father, the communities and the environment in which you have, grown up in, have kind of spurred this collaborative of individuals coming out because two generations have really grown up more integrated than others. Maybe, post civil rights, post segregation. So, it's interesting. And I want to get you all take on it to be like, and I saw a comment. We have a comment down here by Nicolette David. She said, Black men can date whomever they want. Just do not disrespect Black women when you're doing it.
Wait. So,
right. Let me read the comment again. She said, Black men can date whoever they want. Just do not disrespect Black women when you do it. We're still your queen, so treat us as such.
Okay, so let me back up a little. Let me back up a little bit. First of all, your first Black president is biracial,
right?
That's Black people have been sleeping. Black and white people have been sleeping together since the coming of the African on this coast,
right?
Thomas Jefferson was in love with that Black booty. I don't know why we not getting it. And so
Pastor Frank Oliver.
I finally woke up. It has been going on. Most Black men, I mean, come on, when we talk about a lot of Emmett Till, or when we talk about it, it was always because they were scared that Black, the Black pipe had touched their white purity.
Right.
This has been going on. So what I think happened is, and I come from a different perspective because I pastor outside the city.
Okay.
And in pastoring in the suburbs, a little more white people, there's more white people in the movement walking and protesting.
Talk about it.
Than it is anybody else out there.
Yeah.
So what I think has happened is this. What was human, something happened. To watch 8 minutes of a man die, to watch him die, to look in the coldness of another man, and to have to watch that, you have to be, this is about humanity. I'm telling you, there's a lot of white people who are out there. I talk to them, they still have white privilege.
Yeah.
They still, don't get it wrong. They still do some stuff you be like, you can't do that. But they do understand that they understand that there's a difference of, and I think we have to make this, and in our Black communities have to make this. There's a difference of racism and white privilege. Just like there's a difference of being a sexist and male privilege. Now let me go back to this girl's question, because that was the first thing I want to hit your way. The thing about this girl's question is this. I don't know how somebody disrespecting you because that man who with that white woman shit, that's his queen. You ain't his queen. That white woman is his queen.
Come on, Frank.
Just like you won't let me let no other Black woman be the queen when I'm with you. That white woman is his queen, and he has the right to treat that white woman and revere. I don't know why it seems that people have to be disrespect. I don't get the disrespect. Other than I know there's some Black people who say I don't date Black women because of certain type of stereotypes, right. Which I would say that is most guys who say that is pretty ignorant. Women are women,
right?
In every, let me try to tell you. Before I got married, I dated all women is women. Culturally, y'all cut different.
Yeah.
Black women go straight to cutting
to the jugular. Dot. They going straight for the jugular.
White women use Black women use a butcher knife, and a white woman just use a butter knife.
She use a butter knife and make sure that child support, because she can't gut you all the way, because she needs to make sure you can still work, because she getting that child support first. So you got to understand how they operate. But at the end of the day, all of them got a knife.
That part.
Yeah. So I just think that we have to kind of stop playing. As much as we say we don't like racism and stereotypes, we got to stop allowing people to play us in stereotypes. At the end of the day, that's that man's wife, that's that man's woman. Let him revere that woman, and that has nothing to do with you, because obviously that's not your man. That's somebody else's man.
You want to take it, man? You want to come behind?
Fight for that black woman. Come on, Theo. Y'all fight. Y'all fight for these black queens. Y'all know Pastor Theo and Pastor Rowe is single, so it's a lot of draws that's gonna be thrown tonight, baby, because they fighting for y'all black women.
Hey,
I can't say that. I got a light skinned woman. She look as white as they can be. So she black in how she want to cut me, but she was white as you can see. So,
I agree with Pastor Frank. I agree with Pastor
Frank. No, don't do that, Doc. You disagree with me, Theo.
I was about to say
you come out of COVID right now, Doc. These women out here is hungry. Man. They coming out of COVID, boy.
To an extent, I know. As for me, I'm as much as I possibly can. I'm a stick to the black woman. I'm a stick. Now I don't know.
What about a Dominican, a black Dominican?
Listen,
or a Brazilian.
Lift your
70s outside of Africa. Outside of Africa, the biggest population of black people is in Brazil. 75 million of them.
Yeah,
you'll pass that up for one of these?
No, That's why I said, as for me right now,
you're stuttering, Wilkins. Hold your hold, Reverend. You're stuttering.
I'm gonna stick to what I can unless the Lord puts something else before.
He may give you an international ministry.
Hey. But I love the black woman, and and everything that comes. With it. You just got to know
everything that come with her.
Hey, look, man, you just got to know how to deal with it, man. You just got to know. You got to know how to deal with her. I've learned. Just in my personal experiences when dealing with a black woman, and I've dated, outside of the race as well, but dealing with a black woman, I've learned that most black women, they just want to be heard. And I've learned that. It took me, I'm 43, I'll be 44 in November, and it took me about 41 years, 42 years to learn that most black women, they just want to be heard. After all the talking that they do, let them talk. And then when they finish talking, they close their mouth. You still have your way.
Oh,
no. No.
Man.
I like what he said. No. That's what he said. Okay. Listen what he said. Listen what he said. Because see, this is where we mess up. We get too emotional.
Okay.
He said they just want to be heard. He said, just let them talk.
Let them talk.
At the end of the day, we already know what's going to happen. So let's just play this out. I'm going to let you talk. I listened to what you said. Now let's get back to what I said to do.
Yeah.
Now hold on. Now wait a minute. Y'all playing. We talking about black women. Listen, black women. Y'all call in. Listen,
that man got a PhD in black women.
213-528-9659. Somebody call us in black, white, Asian.
That's one of my titles. Home. He got a PhD in black women. Now I'm gonna take his word. He said that might help my marriage right now. If you just let them talk, just sit there and let them talk. See, the problem with me is
what's the problem, man?
The problem is women talk in such a circular way that you don't really know what they're saying. And I think the problem is you be trying to find out.
Yeah.
And because I come from a more strict holiness position, I don't really get to smoke no weed or drink or nothing that bring me down. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing that really just have me sit there.
Yeah, did you hear what they said? Really don't get to.
Sit there. After getting married, it almost made me, I started believing in the cannabis ministry. I ain't got to smoke none, but I almost believe in cannabis. Just sit there. Okay, baby, what's up? Whatever you got. Yes. You got to let them be heard. So I'm with it. See, the problem with Ro is he want to preach to him. You can't preach to him.
I'm not sure. Listen, I'm going to get my Noel Jones. Listen. What?
I'm the prize. I'm the prize.
Right, but no. But see, listen, paging Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard. Where's my sister? You need to come in the chat so you can argue for the black women because they're not going to beat us up on the night. Is it because I think some black women's position, and we've heard it, I don't think it's should be used generally because there's over 7 billion people on earth. So I don't think you can use this generally, but we've heard it. I know we've heard it as black men that as soon as a black man starts making money, he get educated, he start making money, start seeing some sort of wealth. you know what I'm saying? His credit gets straight. The first thing he want to do is go get an Asian woman or a Latino woman or a Caucasian woman. And if we're coming up in the culture that we come up in, I don't necessarily feel that that's a fair depiction, right? I can only talk about myself. I went to my high school. The first high school I went to was Torrance High. This high school, you all know what Torrance back in the early 90s, it was predominantly white. This is where they filmed, for those of you that don't know, they filmed Beverly Hills 90210 on our campus. Okay. And my first, when you get to high school, when you really recognize who a woman was, it was nothing but white women around. And my first crush as in high school as a freshman was this Caucasian girl, but she was beautiful. Right. Like no, she wasn't a plain Jane. Like she had hips, dips, she was like a Kim Kardashian, had the curly hair, like, but she wasn't Italian. And I was like, man, that was my first introduction. We had class together. We was cool. But now my friend who I rock with, who we came up with it because it was only maybe like 15, 20 people in the whole black people in the whole school. And you know me, I was the darkest. So in the school, but
we need
who we
hung
out, right?
We're going to get you a psychologist. Go ahead.
Who I hung out with was, you know, my sister was a year and a half, 2 years ahead of me, and all of her friends. That's who I rock with. So I still hung out with the black women and the men that were at the school. But I'm not gonna lie and say that my first crush in my environment, the totality of my environment, was heavily Caucasian. So, you know, what do we say to those of us like you all when we get and we matriculate out, we have kids, and then our kids are raised in a different environment? Are we like, do our kids lose their blackness because they're around who they are, so they grow up dating who they date?
No. So that's number one. Your kids are going to have blackness because you instill blackness in them.
Right.
Your culture. Number one. That's number one. Number two, they don't date just anybody. So everything you said about a black man, he's coming up in his social class.
Right. Okay.
So he's going to date who understands his social class.
Yep.
All right.
Right. So he's not dating just any white woman. He didn't go get no hillbilly white woman. He didn't go get no trailer park white woman.
Right.
He didn't get no poor white woman. He didn't go get no ghetto Asian girl. I mean, any of us who ever went to school with many of them, we know there is as different as there is in the black community, there is also in the white community and in the Asian community. They all different. He went and got somebody who fits his social class. And so what I'm saying is maybe black women have to ask the question, do we have enough black women who understand how to respond in a certain social class? Let me give it to you this way. I'm a preacher. You a preacher.
Yeah.
We all preachers. Everybody knows that the pastor's wife can make or break a church.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So many of us we know colleagues right now. The thing that's hindering their church, they're great preachers. They should be in big places, but they wife, she don't fit. We know people right now that they wife is not a good. A lot of people she's not a good model.
I could give some reasons
for the
why
women.
She's not.
She's not a good model for the women in the church. So you mad that the women in the church willing to talk to your husband more than they willing to talk to you. You don't model what it means for her to be safe to talk. See, a lot of these things we don't want to say. So what I'm telling young pastors is you got to be careful,
Pastor Frank,
who you marry, because that can make or break where you going in your destiny.
Yeah.
Pastor Frank.
Yes, sir.
So look, I'm looking at the screen right now, and one of the elders of my church, Elder Chisa Dixon, just made a comment. Elder Dixon, if you can, I want you to call in. The number is 213-528-9659. We want to hear what we're talking about from a black woman's perspective.
And she knows us, so
I
don't know where this is.
Conversation about to go all the way south.
Leave before she knew me.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know
is about to kill
I don't know where this is about to go. Still remember you outnumbered. Careful when you call here, boy.
Sister Dixon, call in.
But I think we gotta see. I think we gotta stop allowing people to give us surface talk. And we need to really, especially pastors now, we got to get in the dirt, man, and tell the people the real. Boo, you cute and all, your face is cute and all your stuff, but you got to have more that you bring to the table, and substance that you bring to the table. As me and Pastor Wilkins always talk, people be like, "Oh, church ain't entertainment."
It don't supposed to be.
No, well, but half of what we do
is entertainment.
We got to entertain. People is not sitting. That's why a lot of us is the trouble of translating now to the screen, far as it's not just having people in church, is because guess what? People are going to stroll up if you don't keep their attention, if you don't captivate their attention.
And that's what entertainment means.
Yeah.
To captivate
the attention of an audience,
and
be able to hold them there.
And this is what, if we're going to expand, this is what. So guess what? That woman has to understand she's in a position. And what's amazing is a lot of these women, they understand it on their job. If you work as an executive for Target, you got to wear that Target.
Right. You got to play
right?
the, you got to play the role.
You know, wherever you go, you got to wear that suit. So all I'm saying is why can't we do that in our relationships and particularly if you hold a position with a man who's in position, you got to know how to handle a man in position, not try to overrun him, not try to overthink, but you got to know your place with a man with position.
That's true.
That's very true. But see, and also too, a lot of women, like you said about as far as being the wife of a pastor, I think sometimes it's the pastor's fault. The reason why the wife is not a fit. Because I always say this, me and Pastor Oliver had this conversation. Most male pastors, it seems like to me, they want to marry a co-pastor instead of marrying a woman.
Instead of having a wife. Well, listen, we about to stop. We're going to keep on going. We got a phone call.
It's a lot of men's fault, period. Because we
don't
train these women.
Caller, you're on the line. Welcome to Real Talk with Ro. Could you please introduce yourself and what's your question for the three of us on tonight?
Good evening. This is Elder Chief Dixon.
Oh Lord.
Hi.
A black woman. Hello.
Pastor.
How you doing?
What's going on? A black woman with light eyes and light skin.
You see how all of us got our act together real quick. We put our hands right here. Okay, here it comes. All right, Elder Dixon. Yes. What is your question you have for us? So, what do you think, or comment? How did you want to add to what you have already heard on tonight?
I always Pastor Frank is a troublemaker. So of course he's going to play devil's advocate and everything. But love is love, whether you're dating outside your race. And I totally agree with him. If you grow up in a certain culture, of course you're going to attract what you're used to. However, I wanted to chime in on something you guys were talking about a little bit earlier about how every race has a knife and they will cut you regardless if they cut you different.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, I think that as a woman, regardless of race, social status, and anything, what I believe is on both sides, if a woman says to a man, you know what, honey, I want to talk. Men have this thing where as soon as they say that, it's something negative. No, sometimes we just want to really let you know how we feel. But on the flip side, a woman needs to pay attention to a man's patterns. If you know that a man is a certain way and you always come at him, let's just say when he's having a moment and you know he's having a moment when he's tired, but it's always in that moment when you want to talk to him, it's like, look, let's catch him at a different time. So women need to pay attention to their man's patterns, but at the same time, men just kind of hear your woman out. And it's actually quite simple. Everybody always says that the opposite sex are so difficult, but it's really not that difficult if you pay attention to each other.
I think those are words of wisdom that a woman should study the man that she with and know when's the right time to approach him to get over. Because I'm gonna be honest, as a black man, it don't matter what woman it is. It don't matter if it's my mama, if it's my sister, if it's my wife, ex-wife, right, whoever if a woman say, I need to talk, we instantly go to something negative. I'm just being honest. When a woman says she needs to talk, y'all get to talking and y'all talking, right? You know what I'm saying? And in my experience, I can't speak for my brothers on my right and my left, but in my experience, the majority of the time, it has not been in a positive way that she wanted to approach whatever it was. It has, or maybe that's me needing to be able to mature to get rid of that negative connotation that as soon as a woman says we need to talk, I'm not thinking negative, but
I think the thing is, the notion is you just got to make sure you ain't did nothing wrong.
Right, but I mean, come on, you trying to get in with the Elder Dixon. You want to say safe, man. We just negative.
Let me tell you
from experience.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead.
Yes, man.
On the side, they are very, very different. And can I tell you, I can even tell you their patterns if you guys are like willing to listen to that.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait. Say it again. Say it, because I want people to hear this.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say because you guys are very different. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, we can hear you. I just wanted you to repeat because you said something that I think I want to chime in. People don't know. You say you know them. You've studied their patterns. I just want people to know that because half of your sisters, they can win the battle if they just knew that. G.I. Joe.
You know what's funny? Because I was going to relate that to even being in the ministry. When your overseer Wilkins says this all the time, oh Lord.
Come on, quote the man of God.
But however,
come on.
When he's leading the ministers or when he's saying that he goes to see my pattern, you know, if I'm the overseer as a minister, I shouldn't have to tell you everything. You guys should pray for the heart of the pastor. That way you can serve. Same way in the marriage. If that man is a covering, you should kind of study his patterns because I'm not going to front. Men are not always the easiest to communicate, but you can watch they move. And it'll be easy to move because women have a lot of control if you just pay attention. You know, when they say something to him, why not to? So I'm not going to front. As a woman, there has been times when I've heard an argument on purpose just because I feel like it. I didn't care what he was feeling. I just felt like
Tell the truth.
However,
See, and shame the devil.
If there was ever a moment where I was paying attention, I go, you know what? I know he's not even in the mood. I'm going to hold that until he's in a better mood. Are we joking around? And I can bring it up when I know I'm going to get a better response. But you have to watch patterns.
Watch the patterns. She's trying to help somebody.
Yeah,
She's
helping the women out there.
I have to put Elder Dixon over our relationship ministry. I'm married.
And can I tell you this? This is what I feel. You know, I think women got to start reading the Bible. No, I'm just trying to tell you, you got to start reading the Bible. I mean, Proverbs 15:1 says,
what it
a
say?
soft word turns away wrath, but harsh words stir up anger. I mean, the Bible says in Proverbs 16:24, gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. You got to make sure that tongue is not trying to emasculate your man or trying to cut his nuts off. That's the problem with women. They like to cut nuts. And then you wonder why nobody want to listen to you. Nobody want to hear you after you want to be a massacre. Nobody want to, y'all remember when we grew up, there was Freddie and Jason. Jason didn't talk.
Didn't say nothing. Not a word.
He just start cutting. And that's what y'all want to cut and then want to talk. Nobody want to talk to nobody who's
after be cut.
After you after you got the music in there. Yeah,
no, I love the music.
I'm with you on that. The being cut and annihilated, and having to sit there as a man, having to sit there and take that and not strike back. But I think that goes to Pastor Marcus Beard, man. Thank you for your comment. That goes to what
Beard on the show. You need to get Beard. That boy ain't no joke, man.
Your comment says something key that I think led right into what Pastor Frank was talking about. He said the key to a lasting relationship is that the man feels respected and the woman feels loved. That can occur in any color, and I think that goes right to your point of what you're saying. When the man feels respected, when the woman knows how to, I guess, quote unquote, stroke that ego, and then the man in return turns around and loves her the way she needs to be loved, it occurs in any color. But
sometimes, see, I think a lot of times, especially when we've been people who've been at the bottom, sometimes men think respect is slavery. Like, she's gonna have a voice. So that's why Overseer Wilkins said you gotta let her talk.
Yeah.
So she gotta have a voice. But sometimes women think love is possession. Like they gonna be able to be possessive over you. And you can't possess me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got people calling. They probably saying they trying to tell me off.
Man, tell them to call in. What's the number? 213-528-9659.
Sometimes women want to be possessive, so they want. She said she gone.
You gone, Elder?
Possessive.
Thank you so much for your call.
I love you too. Possessive means you can't I'm a preacher. You can't be possessive over me. I belong to the people.
Yeah.
If I'm a public servant, I belong to the people. You can't possess something that is working as a public servant. And so what happens is you got to change your definition of love. Love has to be Christ-like. Jesus wasn't possessive. He was selfless. And if you're going to marry somebody who's doing his kingdom work, you got to be selfless in your love. And then you might get the response. I'm trying to help somebody get free today.
But back to Overseer's point, though, do we think, as pastors, we're kind of bringing it in, do we think that we male pastors, do we hold some of that culpability of not making sure that the life is balanced between our wives or women that we may be dating or our children? Isn't that responsibility on us to make sure that balance is there? So to the best of our ability, nobody is there. What would you say, Overseer?
It's definitely up to us. And like I said in my comment before, I said it and I won't take it back. I said what I said. A lot of times when you do have that friction between a male pastor and his wife, it's a lot of times it's because of the pastor. I think sometimes it's in order sometimes, but the pastor got to understand, just because you know another pastor who co-laboring with his wife and you see it working for them, that does not necessarily. I believe at one point in time, a pastor making his wife a co-pastor, it went from being a calling to a fad because everybody else is doing it. Yeah. And so this is what I feel that my wife. Now, I always said for me, I would prefer, if I get married again, I would prefer for my wife to just be one of them women. Hey, she come to church, sit down, look cute. When I get a benediction, go out there, start the car up,
and we ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Your ministry is going to be at home. I don't want a co-pastor. I want a wife, because it ain't make no sense. Sundays, pastors, we all know, usually Sunday evenings is our most vulnerable day. We want to go home and
just chill
and chill. But watch this. I don't want to get home on a Sunday night and my wife is as tired as I am, because she had to work in church all Sunday. She had to direct the choir, do praise and worship, meet with the women ministry after church, go down to the kitchen, help cut the cake and for the refreshments and pour juice and all that other stuff. Now, by the time she get home, she can't take care of me because she tired.
Yeah. Both of us just
I believe because of that, you want to lift that up. Find somebody else to do all that stuff. Let your wife be wife. Another thing I've seen is a lot in church that I don't agree with, and y'all ain't got to agree with me if you don't want to, that's out there listening and viewing, is, a lot of these churches now, you got the husband the pastor got armor bearer, the wife got an armor bearer. Now you even got the kids having armor bearer. No, first lady, you take care of your own kids. You don't need to be passing your kids to none of the other women members doing service. You take care of your own kids. And that's why a lot of these little nappy head church kids grow up being fast, because they used to being passed around in church. And so now when they got they don't know how to sit their butt still. Get your children, first lady, and make your children sit down next to you. Your child don't need an armor bearer or a Sunday morning worship daycare.
Right, part.
No, I was gonna say, and I think we got to know how to define what's the difference of sometimes, you can, because I think some women think that we saying you cannot play a role in ministry. And there's a place where you might do something in ministry. I give like my wife. I expect that she work in media because that's what she do and that's what she loved doing. So I need her to make sure my media go look at that screen. But because my wife works in media does not stop her. I got kids now. So I expect that my kids are taken care of more than I expect that I care if she making me look like I'm on TV.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so what I'm saying is, and I don't want, like at my church, my wife is not necessarily, she's very involved with the women's ministry, but she's not over the women's ministry. Not because that doesn't necessarily mean because she's the first lady, she needs to be over women. I think we got to understand that. But I think that this is what we're saying. We make these expectations of putting people over stuff, and that doesn't mean that is the best place where they want to shine or they even want to be. They're just trying to be in places, and I think that's happening with a lot of people, period. In marriages and relationships, we put people in positions that are not proper, and then we wonder why it's chaos. Proper people placement prevents the problems.
Yeah, but then is it also like an expectation, something that pastors have taken on from the church's expectation that your wife,
it's not
the
from the
first
church.
lady.
No,
I mean, I'm talking about over the course of time. You don't think it's from any pressure from the church?
I'm gonna tell you where it's from. It's from a lot. It's from two things. We all desire to have a power. We desire power. Let's say that. Number one, we like power. You wouldn't be in this position if you don't type of like power.
Okay.
Anybody who's in a leadership position desires some type of power, influence.
Okay.
Now, we all would like to see power pack couples. We want to see power teams. We like power teams. It's like, boom. It's like, that's the thing of America, right? We want power pack teams. So we want to see that. That's just a human perspective. That's it. You see it in entertainment. You see it in all other places. We want power pack teams. We like that. That's number one. The other flip side of it is there are people who are setting tones in churches. I hear a lot of people who telling what the first lady should be. They don't even like women.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
No, that ain't the church. No, don't tell me that ain't the church. I ain't talking about the church expectation. I'm gonna say this again, because I really believe who could have set the real tone of what a first lady should have been those mothers, old mothers of the church, because old mothers understood place, position, power. They understood the politics of the role.
Right.
But there is another agenda going on that you have a lot of people. I'll be listening to guys talk and preachers talk, and this is what a first lady should be. And I'm like, I know this dude don't even like women.
Ladies and gentlemen,
y'all run into conventions of guys we know.
Yeah. Don't
even like women.
Yeah.
And he told me, how he gonna tell you? He's in competition with you. Y'all asked me to come on the show.
I asked my brother to come on the show. Start the trouble, bro. I mean, for me now, I was married for 6 years, and I think I did in that marriage. Going in, I thought there was an because you're weird. I'm third generation PK on both sides of my family. So what you see and what you kind of the environment that you come out of. But I tried my best, and maybe my ex-wife, maybe she'll come on the show one time. I tried my best to not to put her in that framework of you need to wear a hat. You know what I'm saying? Them first lady hats, or you need to wear the dress all the way down to your ankles. One, because she was in her mid-20s when we got married, and like, that's just not you. But some of the people had an expectation that sometime as pastors, I think we fall into that, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it should be, or this is what they should act like, which I think is not fair. And going into it, like I'm with Paseo. If I get married again, man, I just want my wife to be able to rock. Hold on. And when I'm ready to when I'm ready to lead the church, I'm ready to go.
Hey, can I say this?
Let's meet me where we going to eat.
I know you got comments, so let me say this. Sometimes people are talking code words. We don't know how to deal with codes no more. Yeah. Was they asking for you to put on a hat and a dress, or was they asking for her to come more presentable?
No, because she was never unpresentable. It's just like that. It's that expectation that this is what the over years and years. This is what generations before them of first ladies look like. They sat on the first row with the big hat. They weren't, but
see,
that, or the other, because it was an expectation from the
because
people.
The reality is this: is sometimes women when you come in positions and when you come in places like this, the best movie I can tell you to watch is a movie called 300. It's an old movie. Yeah. You got to understand your position. People are looking at you and they already got you under judgment. And so you got to come in. You got to come out of many of us know this as pastors. If you take over a church who's already been hurt by preachers coming in, you got to come in a totally different manner. You got what I'm saying?
Right.
When you coming in and a preacher is there and they have an expectation of a preacher, you have to come in a certain manner as a woman to say, my naysayers is going to say this and I'm about to blow their mind. I'm about to win them over. I think it was Bishop Johnny Withers' mom who said this. She said, when you learn to love the people and when you learn how to serve the people, she said, you ain't got to worry about the people's judgment, because you know how to win them over. And I think that a woman has to take that point of view. You can't come in like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be who I want to be. We all want to say that too, but we in a position where if you got voted in or you going in, you can't just do whatever you want to do. Yeah. There's politics to it.
Yes, you got to play the pot. But here's Beard again, Pastor Beard. Thank you, man, for your comment. He said, if there is a first lady, then where is the second lady? All these titles are man-made expectations and dumb. I'm with you, Beard Doc. I'm with you because I think that is something that over the course of maybe the urban church, I can't speak to our evangelical brothers and sisters or other denominations and stuff, AME, CME, but predominantly if we're talking about our Kojics, PAW, Pentecostals, Assembly of the World, our Apostolics, our Baptists, over the years, this is their expectation that has been built in that the pastor has to be like this, or the pastor's wife or first lady has to be like this, and women for us, right? We kind of scaled it in, but women for us have to be a certain way. I know I've got the question just in dating post-divorce. Well, what is you a pastor? Okay, the first thing some women ask me, do I have to wear a hat? Well, where did they get that from? I don't know you from Sam, but she said, do I got to wear a hat? Do I got to do this? Do I got to do that?
I grew up a lot of time. Well, I grew up in all type of, my interdenominational faith was all type of things. So period. I think that, that depending on your traditional church, that is it. First lady though should be, which is saying to your wife, and like it's anywhere else, not that there's a second lady, but that you should be the model of all women. See, that's why I'm trying to say we got women who are coming into these, baby. Let me give you a couple things. I'm gonna say, I'm turning 41, and my goal is I want my stomach flat. I want to bring sexy back for 40.
Okay.
Not for me, overseer. It's vain though. Now that I got my kids, I want my kids. I want to be that daddy that people come and say, "Ooh, Lyric, your daddy fine."
Yeah.
I ain't gonna even lie. That's the only reason why I want to get myself fitted. It ain't like I got my wife. She ain't going nowhere. I'm pumped 3 kids in her. Where she go? I want to get up and I want to be. I just want to be that one that when my kids go to the school, they be like, "Dang, your daddy, how old?"
Right.
Dang, he look good. I want that right? So I'm willing to do certain things. I'm telling people, I want women to realize is, hey, you the first lady, you may have to lose weight, not for you. You may be okay with you. But for all the other women that you got to model, how many times right now? Wilkins,
model, not compete.
Wilkins, right now. Now Wilkins is different because he do virtual ministry. He do his whole self,
right?
His whole self. So he got to be totally dressed. But for me, I only do from right where y'all see this show is. I'm in pajamas, and then I put on a jacket and a shirt, and I'm hollering and screaming. But if I would stand up, you'd be like, "What's wrong with that pastor?" Right? What I'm saying is many of us If we go to church right now, how many times have we got up to church and we didn't want to wear that? We didn't want to put on a robe. We didn't want to put on the suit. We didn't even want to put on no shoes. Even if you wore like Wilkins, you wear Chucks. So I didn't want to put on that. I want to be in my white boy sandals. But I know there's an expectation sometimes, right?
Yeah.
If you go into Wilkins, how many times have you dressed down at your church, but you know you gotta go across to somebody else's church and you know that they gotta put on a suit and it's 105 degrees. The church ain't got no air conditioner and we all sitting up here in wool suits just dying. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But you do it because you understand the climate. And that's all I'm saying. As women have to understand that. I mean, first ladies have to understand, if you call yourself first lady, pastor's wife, that the expectation is that you're going to model the Bible the best way you can of those good works and that culture. And you need to ask your husband, if he's the head of that church, what do you want the women of this church to resemble? Yeah. And if he says, for me, it's going to be different than what it is for overseer, right? Overseer Wilkins may say, this is what I want my women in my church to look like. For instance, at Overseer Wilkins' church, praise is necessary. Right. You got to be a praiser. His wife can't be sitting up there and don't want to praise.
Oh yeah, she got to be able to pick them up and put them down.
She better hold that kid and know how to put them feet together. You understand what I'm saying? Because he can't be telling the whole church, y'all ain't praising God. And they looking at his wife like she ain't moved.
Right, ain't moved, ain't felt no ghost. Right, your wife can't even pick them up and put them down, man.
I think I got comments. What you got comments? What the people say?
No, I think our last comment that came in. That was Beard and Dixon. She agreed with Pastor Beard, so it was a good thing, man. I think because we're almost coming to an end, we're almost out of time, everybody. But I think, and they telling us, producers telling us we got a call coming in. We're definitely gonna have to get Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard in next time.
Boy, I'm trying to tell you, she gonna take up all the last minutes.
Listen,
y'all crazy.
But I think next time, man, maybe we come back and do a part 3 and dive into can pastors date? Right, we ain't gonna get into it, man. Don't talk about it. But I think this is leading us to a good topic,
and that's why we
can have some fun with it.
If you go date,
we can ask the question:
you should date interracially.
Pastors date? You
should date interracially.
And if pastors can date, how do we date? Because this Negro right here, he
interracially.
Right, we divorced.
I'm trying to help you.
How we date in 2020?
Don't date nobody who come to your church. So go out and go date. Go date a Persian. Go date a Muslim. You know they ain't coming.
Find a Latino at the alley in downtown LA.
Go date. Go date one who's staunch Catholic. You know she not coming to your church. You see what I'm saying? That way you ain't because you think y'all date. Let me say you date 3 women in LA who's in the church circuit.
We dead in the water.
Then you a hoe.
Right, and you just dated.
And all you did, and people gonna expect whatever they're gonna expect about you. You might not have done nothing. Yeah. You may have not, it may have not even been that serious. But now you all of a sudden the pastor's a hoe because they all own that circuit. So that's why I'm saying to you, don't let nobody put you in the box. If you dating right now, you know you ain't really trying to be married. Man, you better go see the rainbow. And I'm talking about the heterosexual rainbow.
I was about to say expound, Doc.
The heterosexual rainbow.
Hey, listen, y'all. We are just saying definitely bringing these two back. When we come back, man. Is the caller there? Production. The caller is she not?
You shouldn't have stopped me from saying that. You shouldn't have stopped me from saying. I'm trying to tell you, I ain't against nobody.
Dixon said, "Wait till part 3." Pastor Oliver, wait till part 3.
Just telling the truth. Just telling. I ain't gonna have too much to say because I got hitched.
Nicolette, listen, Nicolette. We know we didn't stay on topic. It start going. This is real talk with Ro. This is real talk with Ro. We just going. We going where it's going.
We are on topic. We weaving through what we got to weave through. If you walk with, see, this is what I'm saying with women. This is what I'm saying. How you gonna determine and dictate our revelation? You gonna dictate our revelation. See, you got to be, what church you go to? We need to lay hands. We're gonna have to lay hands on you. The bishop is gonna have to get some sanitizing and lay hands on thy head. I'm trying. Listen, preachers, you got to replace the anointing oil with sanitizer. You can't. You can't.
Lord.
Can't put it.
Mix.
Listen, and you're gonna have to do it every time. You can't use the same oil on the same people.
Oh man, listen. Oh Lord, Nicolette, we got it. We go listen. We got to make sure you call in.
Her name is Nicolette.
Nicolette David. You're gonna have to call in
I'm
next
praying
week.
for you.
You have to call in next week because we're running out of time. Make sure you call in next week because we definitely want to get your opinion on this whole dating, interracial dating, the whole nine. I see
because so many.
Evangelist McFarland, bless you. Thank you for enjoying.
I'm trying to really honestly tell you the truth. I'm trying. I think next week when I come, I want to protect your anointing.
Right.
I want to protect your image. And what happens is a lot of women, they see you're a man of power. They've already made up in their mind 30 seconds after being with you that they gonna be the first lady. And then when they not, then they get their feelings hurt. They like you remember when you used to date in high school, and when you break up with the girl, the first thing she gonna say, he had a little wee wee. now you wasn't thinking that when you was sucking and licking and bouncing and jumping and screaming and hollering. Lord. I can't say that.
Real talk with Ro, y'all. Yes, sir.
She was flipping and ripping and saying this. She said this was the best thing in her life. She was fornicating and then trying to speak in tongues at the same time. You didn't say that then. But now that you ain't with you, now you want to say it ain't. And that's what happens when preachers are dating. People want to go and try to assassinate your character.
Yeah.
Instead of just realizing that it was a season or it didn't work. And it was cool. And it don't have to be that something's wrong with you.
To be careful.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I just tell you, go date where, the word don't even get out. You got to go on dates. Go out to Temecula. Go far. The Bible says that the man went to a far country. we go. Listen, all of you all that are on right now. He said, Abraham, get thee out of thy country and out of thy kindred and go. And listen, you need to go.
We getting ready to get out of here, y'all. We thank you all for coming in. This was just episode 2 of Real Talk with Ro. I thank my brothers for coming in. We pray that Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard, she is safe
and
wherever she is.
Don't call in if you ain't got 6 figures next week.
And she's gonna come back with us next. Listen,
if you trying to date them two over here, I'm their armor bearer. If you ain't got 6 figures, you can't help us. We trying to build churches post COVID. So I'm asking you about your FICA score, and I'm asking you about if you ain't got 6 figures and fight, because the Saints ain't got no money. The Saints has lost their job, and we need you to help. If you can't help the vineyard, we don't want you.
Your voice is changing. Listen, everybody don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the alert. We want to be able to bring you all back next week. Listen, next week we're going to take a pause. June 18th is my birthday, everybody. So we won't be coming in next Thursday, but we'll be back, I believe, the Thursday after that. I believe it's June 25th. If
you cute and you single,
listen,
we're going to be at Rose Party.
Is it June 25th? Somebody, producers, tell me June 25th is our next showtime.
Sexy,
June
single,
25th is the next one. All right, June.
Single, 6 figures, and a FICA score over 700. You can come to the party.
All right, listen. So June 25th, we're gonna be back live. I'm bringing my brothers back. We might have to get Pastor Lee Finney. He's here. He came into the studio. Y'all give God a big hand clap of praise for Pastor Lee. It's his birthday today.
It's his birthday.
So he came to hang out with us.
He already got a boo.
He already got a boo. He's hitched. We love our sister.
She fine.
We love our sister. So y'all leave him on. But Pastor Lee Finney came to kick it with us. Listen, we getting ready to get out.
She's 6'4", she fine, and she got 6 figures, and she got an 800 FICA score. So you don't even try. Don't even leave him alone. Move to the next one.
Thank you, Elder Dixon, for the happy birthday. So listen, we'll be back June the 25th. My brothers are coming back. Maybe we can get Pastor Finney in here. We're definitely going to have to lock up Reverend Dr. Najuma Smith-Pollard. I thank you all for joining us on tonight for Black America, Can We Live? Listen, we coming back to do a Black of America, Can We Live Part 3. So tell all your friends, your family, tell them to come subscribe to the page. Again, we thank you all for joining us on tonight. Y'all have a blessed night. This is Real Talk with Ro, and we out of here.
Peace.